everyone. Welcome to Soulprism Podcast, where we serve you bite-sized nuggets of wisdom for your body, mind, and soul to serve you, the emerging soulpreneur. My name is Tammy Mack, and I'm super excited to be here with you today. We have Lyndsey Shelly, who is a quantum business mentor and a dark activator. So I can't wait to dive in deep with all things Lyndsey in her world and what she's up to today. So hello, Lyndsey.
Hi.
So it is Aries season. And as you know, Aries season is all about the sense of self. It is the beginning of the new astrological season and wheel. And Aries is like a 2-year-old finding themselves for the first time. So they're young, they're screaming, they're loud, they're trying to get their needs met, and they're trying to figure out who it is that they are in their innocence. And so one of the ways that we can bring in human design through this is through the G Center, because the G Center is your sense of identity. It's also your sense of direction and purpose in life. So Shelley, Lyndsey, can you tell me a little bit about your G Center and if it is defined or undefined?
So my G Center for me, so just to give you a bit of a background, so I'm a 2/4 triple split generator, and my G Center is defined. I have gate 2 defined, which is actually in my moon. I have gate 1 defined in 3 places. I would say probably my most prominent ones are my Saturn and my Mars. So that gate 1 in those 2 gates has been an absolute doozy. If you know human design, you may be like, oh yeah, I feel ya. And then I have got gate 10, which is one of my 3 channels that I've got in my chart, which connects to the 34. So my G Center connects down to my sacral. Now, like that empowerment and that individuality for me is like, you know, obviously I said, you know, I'm a dark feminine activist. Like that sense of empowerment really comes through me. Like, you know, someone could come in, I dust them off, you know, a few words, go, like Coach Carter, and away they kind of go. So like that real empowerment, knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you stand for, and then saying, right, go, like go, is very much at the core of me. Now, coming out of my G Center as well, and that gate 1, my Chiron is in gate 8. So one of the big, and I do want to talk about this, because one of the biggest struggles that I've had with my identity is I never saw where I fitted in. Like I had this bright, fiery red hair, this mouth that wasn't afraid to speak, you know. I'm quite passionate. That comes out in my language, you know. I drop an F-bomb and any other swear word that you can think of that you might not even find in the dictionary. And I was always like, people always made me question whether I was wrong and who I was. And I really attribute that to that gate 8 and that individuality. And the bottom line is, like, through the healing and the work that I've done, it's like I don't make myself wrong anymore. Like, and I think one of the things I really do is empower, especially women, to step into that darker side of their feminine and not suppress it. And I talk a lot about, you know, like when I was younger, it used to be a case of little girls should be seen and not heard, and I'm like, fuck that, like, absolutely no. Like if that was the case, why on earth did we get given this voice and all of this sass? Like that's, you know, that's not going in. That needs to come out. And yeah, so I'm just really passionate about that. But, you know, if I look at my G Center and I look at that gate 2 as well, like the feminine energy, and I think this is a collective, something that's going on collectively at the moment, we're very much as where we've been women in a man's world, we've all been conditioned to probably be more in our masculine than we have in the feminine, and everybody's story will be different. But really coming into that feminine and tapping into that femininity within me, whereas my default setting would be masculine. Go, 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 let's make it happen. I was really, probably till even like a year and a half ago, very uncomfortable with flow, because flow meant I was being lazy. Being in my feminine energy meant I wasn't doing enough, like all of the limiting stuff that we tell ourselves. And I've got really comfortable with like, no, I'm being a lazy bitch today. Like that's who I am today. That's the identity I'm embodying today. I don't want to go, I don't want to do anything, and I'm going to trust my body. And I know that I don't have to do anything to be receptive and for life and opportunities and money and abundance and friendships and stuff to come to me. Like, I'm worthy and I get to receive that just because. So
absolutely. I'm on the other hand of that, the other end of that, where I have almost a completely open G center. And I also really felt like a chameleon all of my life. I was having a conversation the other day, and in high school, I was the only one who was listening to Erykah Badu and watching BET, and I live, in a very, Caucasian, a very white community in the middle of the prairies of Canada. And yet I always really enjoyed other types of music. I loved hip hop. I was a white girl rapper in the 90s. Everyone was listening to Backstreet, and I was like, no diggity with Blackstreet. So I've always, noticed that I've always been a little bit different. I've always been, and really with the open G center, it's like I'm always trying to find home. I'm always trying to feel like what feels good to me in this moment now, which really I love, because I can fit in with everyone, because I can be a chameleon in that way. I also have the gate 1. That's the only gate defined in my human design, through the human design, the gate of purpose, and really being grounded in this, because the gate 1 is the most masculine gate of the entire system, where gate 2 is the most feminine. It's the receiving. And so I was highly conditioned to have my sense of self-worth, my purpose, on how hard I worked, how much I fit in, how good I can flow with others. And it wasn't about me. It was how I could be with everyone else. Or, that was how, I was highly conditioned. I have a Capricorn ascendant, which really is connected to tradition and systems and, working hard to receive, and all of those really old, outdated thought patterns that, I'm so grateful that I came here to clear. That being said, my ascendant, my rising sign, is actually in the gate 10 of the heart center. And the gate 10, I always, I love that you bring in the dark feminine, because gate 10 for me is the gate of Isis. And Isis had this intense, passionate devotion. And through that devotion, it was through consistency. It was through going through the fire of transformation, doing the work, doing the inner process, that you created change in your life. And so for me, it's, coming back to the open G, and after 45 years of the cycles of going through Aries season, really connecting to a sense of, I am who I am in this moment, and that can change in each moment. So I'm curious for you then, as a business energetic mentor, what would the advice that you would give to somebody who is more into flow and less into niche?
More into flow and less into what, sorry?
Into like one box, one niche. This is, what you do. as opposed to somebody who flows in and out depending on where she is or who she's with.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of pressure in the business world to niche yourself down, to not only know who you are, to know specifically, you know, who your clients are, like how old they are, you know, what they eat for dinner, like, you know, how many times they go to the toilet a day. And to be honest, like, and I don't want to upset people, like, to me, that's like, it's bollocks. Like, I'm just going to say it's bollocks, right? Because, you know, and I've been given advice where it's like, sorry, this is just coming through now. Like, one of the worst bits of advice I've ever been given in business was talk to the you 3 years ago. And I'm like, you're kidding. Like, I moved that fast. Like, I was like, I could have a conversation with the me 6 months ago and I've already moved. Like, when you evolve quickly, like, you don't need to like put yourself in a box. Like, you get to decide in that moment who you are, who you want to serve. And I'm much more of a fan of energetically like letting the universe show me who I'm here to serve. And I've got a really current story on this. So I did this, and I do something called an energetic pull. Now, I know you're very intuitive, you may do something similar, may have done something similar, and it's kind of like you vision yourself in an auditorium, because let's be honest, when you, like, I've very much been through some identity work in the last 6 months, and it's kind of like I've landed here, this is who I am, this is what I'm focusing on, and now I'm at this point, right, who are the people I'm serving? So I did something called like an energetic pull, because when I looked out into my audience at the people that have been with me through all the stages of my career, my network, you know, my 21-year corporate career, I look out and I see those people, and I look out and I see all of the people from my network marketing career. I had a very, very successful network marketing career. And then I see all of the people from like the healing circles and stuff. And I just look out and I see all of these people from that have had places in my past, right? But what I couldn't see was the people that I was here to serve, like at a soul level, those soul aligned clients. And that's not saying those people are not soul aligned clients, but I had this feeling, this intuitive knowing that the next version level of me, the identity, was serving somebody that she had never served before, right? I don't know how I know it. You know this from astrology. We don't know how we know this shit. We just know it, right? And I couldn't see, I had no physical evidence of who it was. So rather than go in your mind, which is what strategists and business mentors told you, like, write it down, like, who were you 3 years ago? Like, from a place of like mentally working it out, like, I'm not here for that. You know, I pulled in the energy and it was like, right, show me. Like, I know who I am. I've done the work on me. Show me these people. Bring them into the light so I can see these people who I'm here to serve. And you know what happened? Like, this is the power of the magic we have in us. I decided that, you know, I'd obviously do human design gene keys as well. I decided that I wanted to do some like I call them laser audios, right? So I just put it out to my network and I'm like, you know, if you're interested in knowing, and I literally just send people like a 2-minute voice note, look at their chart and bat it over. And because I love connecting with people, like, that feels good. I don't do that for any other reason. I don't do it because it's going to lead on to, I do it because I want to do it, because I like to talk, I like to get rid of that energy, I like to use the energy that comes through me at the end of the day, and I like to connect with people. All of these people that stepped forward were born in 77 or 78. And I looked at their chart and I could literally see the connection between my chart and my human design, and I could see the contract between me and these people. Now, this is where the dark feminine activist came from. Everybody that knows me knows that and that power, and I will not be silenced, and, you know, I will not be mistreated, and I will not be suppressed. Like, that's very, you know, my son's in gate 49, Cali vibes, right? The people that are of that age and that, you know, that 77 and 78 are going through their Lilith returns or are just coming out of their Lilith returns. And it kind of just went bingo, the dark feminine. Like I have it in my sun gate, but intuitively it was like, right, this is the thing. And then all of the opportunities started coming through. I got invited to do something called Speaking from Your Soul. And it was like you had to put all of this stuff, and it just channeled out, like it just flowed out. And as soon as I made that connection in terms of, you know, and I'm not limiting people, it's not like, right, I only work with people that are age 44 because of this, you know, but the way those people stepped forward was just like that confirmation of like the dark feminine, this is what you're here to pull out of people. Because so many women, heart-centered women, spiritual entrepreneurs, light workers, cannot show up because the fear of persecution is so ingrained at a cellular level. The fear of ridicule, the fear of judgment, like all of the stuff that, you know, we talk about. And Christ knows how much money I've spent having my throat chakra, you know, bloody bougied on a weekly basis. But it's like, when you've done that work and you've embodied that energy, that's how you pay it forward. And do you know what? Like, it doesn't mean these women are going to come in and necessarily, you know, have coaching and stuff with me. Yes, I'm sure many of them will, but actually just when they, like, that's the frequency that I'm emitting. But just that realization really opened up. So just the understanding, because that's about my identity as well, and being like, this is who I am, this is what I embrace, and this is the energy I put out into the world. Because, you know, we talk about Aries and stuff, it takes one person. You know, if you were a bunch of matches, and you've probably seen the picture from the big C, you know, you light one match and then someone stands next to you, and then someone stands next to you, and someone stands next to you, and all of a sudden you've got like a rip raw fire. And the thing with that dark feminine, you know, if you think Mother Nature, you know, she can either, and I saw a quote about this the other day, I was like, oh, I fucking love that. It was like, she can either warm your home or she can burn it down, right? And it's like, but why do we suppress that? Like, you know, even the stuff we burn down is for regeneration, it's for regrowth. Like, that's what Mother Nature does, you know. And if we look to Mother Nature, why do we suppress that fire and that shit in our souls? Like, why? Like, I know why, but it's like, come on, bring it out. Like, the passion, like, because I'm not just talking about fire, I'm talking about like the passion. And, you know, what do you stand for? Like, use your voice, like, stand in your power, like, speak. And it's funny because, you know, I look at like my best friends and like clients and stuff that I've had in the past, and they'll message me and they'll be like, I was in a really difficult conversation the other day, and you literally appeared on my shoulder, and you were like, well, she's like, and I told them, oh, I felt so good. Like, she was like, and I just, but that's it. Like, people, when you speak, like, and it, you know, I'm feisty, but it's always from a place of love. And one of the misconceptions I always think is, you know, and again, I mean no offense, right? Like, the spiritual community, you know, the love and light, right? I'm all love and light, yeah. It just happens to be fire. However, there is a very, very firm stand, and funnily enough, this is kind of where my Black Moon Lilith is in my chart, between loving yourself and putting other people in front of yourself. So it's like, sometimes you might have to be a bit firmer, sometimes you might have to be a little bit feistier, but if that is in love to yourself and putting yourself first, that's absolutely fucking okay. Like, and that is literally what I stand for. And I was saying to somebody earlier, like, I love it. We're two lines, right? We love a review, like, feels nice and warm and fuzzy. But when someone voice notes me and are like, oh my God, you never guess what happened today, and this is what I said, that's when I like stand up on my chair and I'm like, fuck yeah, it's power to the people. Like, you know, because I know how much strength it took that person to speak their truth. And, you know, like, oh, there's just so much, like, I'm just so passionate about it, but I'm going to let you speak because I need to drink.
I mean, yes, there was so much to unpack there. And I love that you brought up the whole love and light in the spiritual community. To be quite honest, I am not all love and light. Because if you are a true light worker, you are down in the dark. Like, I work in mental health and addictions. Why? Because to me, I can really resonate with the pain that they're feeling. I truly, truly can. I can have this sense of compassion and empathy because I know what it feels like to be lost. I know what it feels like to have voices in your head. I'm a channel. I hear voices all the day. The only difference is that I'm higher functioning, right? Yeah. I understand the self-hatred that so many people with mental health and addictions have. But this is where, you know, we get to do the work. It's not always, you know, holding a high vibration and being the best and forging through, you know, the path and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's getting your hands dirty. Sometimes it's admitting that, hey, you know what? I got a little Hitler in me. We all do. We all have just as much dark as we do light. And if we really want to get down to the basics, this war that we talk about, the light and the dark, either way, we're just human batteries, whether we're giving our energy to the light or whether we're giving it to the dark, right? Yeah. So this is where I feel it is so important to know your values, to know your worth, to know what it is that you truly believe, like in your heart of hearts, in, you know, who it is that you are and what it is that you want to stand for, so that you're not easily swayed, so that you're not, you know, jumping on the next bandwagon, so you're not, you know, with your open head and ajna jumping at every single freebie, every single little bit of information to fulfill yourself, because you have this void within you that you don't know who you are, right? So to me, it's like the most important thing. And even in business, when, you know, whether we niche down or whether we just, you know, we serve from our soul, we're attracting the people that resonate with us, right? Mm-hmm. So I also don't believe in, you know, creating an avatar for your soulmate client, because truly when you are open-hearted, and we're going to bring this back to the G center. The G center has the magnetic monopole, right? That only attracts. It only attracts. So we're constant. And now you get to double down because you have that sacral center that's also always attracting situations, circumstances for you to respond to. Mm-hmm. And so you're attracting from your heart, your desires, you want, who it is you want to work with, who it is you resonate with, who it is you're here to have a karmic relationship with, and then who it is that you're here to serve. And so you get to, you know, it comes from you. It comes from you, not from what someone else is telling you or the outside circumstances. Absolutely. And so I'm all about, you know, I love working with the dark feminine forces as well. I love working with Kali. I love working with Isis. Lilith, love Lilith. Even Persephone. Like when we look at Persephone, we think of her as the goddess of spring. We forget that she's the queen of the underworld. Yeah. Right? 6 months of the year, she's the queen of the underworld.
Definitely. And it's again, it's that it like people, it's that old adage, isn't it? People are afraid of the dark. And you know, I've had so many people say to me, people aren't ready for you. People, like some of the people that you want to help aren't ready for what you bring, because so many people have constructed and made themselves into an avatar and worn a mask. Now, like, I have absolute empathy for those people, because I wore a mask. I wore a fucking mask for the first 36 years of my life, right? Because you know, I didn't fit in. I wasn't seen, I wasn't heard, I wasn't understood. So like this identity work like has been such a deconstruction of like, nope, that's not me, nope, that's not me, oh fuck that, nope, that shit can go. Like it's literally been like ruthless. So like burning away, using that dark feminine energy to burn away like all of the bullshit, like is literally the foundation of the work that I've done and that I take people through. But some people are afraid of the dark. You know, if you go back to that like childlike thing, no, I need to sleep with the light on because I can't see in the dark, you know, and that's the whole point. But I can't tell you like, and you know, you've obviously got a lot of that. You've got your Scorpio, like the deep dive. People fear being seen at that level, like, and again I'm sure like you're very much the same as me, we always vibe. It's like I can look at a social media post and I see what people write and I look at the lovely picture and then I see into that person's soul and I see into the energy of the words and I can literally in minutes. It's like, do you know in what, you know, The Good Doctor, the series with the autistic doctor, where he gets like the tabs open. It's like that in my brain, and I'm deconstructing this blueprint and seeing people, and that scares people. Now I'm not doing that for any other reason other than to help them work through their shit, right? Same as you. You know, and obviously we had a fantastic session and you saw some stuff in me that I hadn't seen. Like, we're not standing here as gurus, like we've done all of the things, like we're there, like we are there, we are the gurus. Absolutely fucking not, because this is a journey. Like we will still be doing this work in another fucking 40 years time, right? So anybody that thinks that, you know, they've done the work and that's it and hallelujah, that, like, no, absolutely not a vibe. There's always another. You
brought up a really good point, and so I'm going to play with this a little bit. Now you are a 2-4 generator.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, what are you, emotion generator or pure generator?
No, sacral.
So you're a pure generator and you're 2-4. Now I'm a 6-2 splenic projector. So we both get to play with the two. And you said something that was like, so like you said quite a few things that I was like, you know, a 2 when. The first thing is the shadow aspect of the 2 is ignorance is bliss. Right? We like to avoid as much as possible. And we like to keep our head in the sand, right? Because as a line 2, we want to work in our genius. We want to work at what we're good at, what feels good, what's natural to us. And anything else, like especially if it's that hard shit, we don't want to deal with that. So we're going to like turn molehills into mountains if we don't deal with that kind of stuff. And so the second line, you know, the journey of the second line is through the biofeedback of our relationships. It's the dance that we have within our relationships. And in my feminine archetype language, I call her the creative muse, because the line 2 is so influential. It really, really is. And it's by being themselves. And sometimes the line 2 is like, you know, somebody will say, I don't know how she does it. And the line 2 is so unaware of themselves. They're like, I thought everybody can do this.
Yeah.
You don't know this. I thought everybody knows this. This is hard for you. This is the easiest thing in the world, right? And so we get to play in that energy of, this is who I am. This is my genius. Just being myself is the greatest gift in the world because it really influences others. But as you said, we don't see ourselves. We don't see ourselves at all. In fact, we need to be called out. We need something to respond to. And as you said, the more that we're responding to others and learning about others, we learn more about ourselves. And so we see ourselves, you know, almost like a cosmic mirror. We see ourselves in others. And so the journey for us is to stop avoiding your shit, right? Stop avoiding, stop putting your head in the sand and like deal with it. Because the more that you deal with it, the more, honestly, there's this feeling that you get when you're finally seen and heard for who you are, and you're not holding on to the shame that you feel for those secrets that you have that you don't want anyone else to know. And so, as you said, with that deep Scorpio, right? Scorpio's all about the secrets. It's all about the secrets. And so pairing that with the line 2 that has quite a bit of secrets, it's intimate. It's intimate only to that person. And most of the time, it's self-perceived. Most of the time, you've blown it out of proportion. 2 things before we go. How can we find you? How, if we wanted to work with you or we wanted a little bit more of your magic, how can we find you?
So I am predominantly on Facebook. I do have an Instagram, so just Lyndsey Shelly. And I'm also doing a collaboration with 16 other amazing women called Speaking from Your Soul. And my talk is around expressing yourself, not repressing yourself, and speaking your truth. So, but you'll find the information for that either on my Facebook, or I think we can drop it here as well.
As a soulpreneur, what do you feel your genius is and your gift to share through your soul prism?
My genius is really that like authenticity and probably marketing. Like I would probably say like soul marketing, like that power to speak to your audience through your soul, through your content, through your writing. But the biggest part of that is being seen. Like, and there is so much work around me seeing people to see themselves so that they can show up as who they are. I hope that makes sense, but that is very much me seeing people so they can see themselves so they can be seen.
I mean, that's a prism in itself. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. I can't wait to share it with everyone. And if you want to work with Lyndsey, check her out on her Facebook page. And she's always offering some amazing masterclasses, amazing offerings. And I mean, even just her posts are so impactful. So check her out on Facebook. Everyone, have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Amazing session with Tammy just before Christmas. I think, was it just before Christmas? Maybe October, November time. And I was actually really, really physically poorly with kind of like ascension symptoms and stuff, was going through a really, really rough healing stage. And she tapped intuitively like into my human design, because again, it's those blind spots. You don't always see yourself. And some of the things that came through Tammy for me, like were really, really life-changing in terms of like some of the habits and grounding into the physical. And again, like a spiritual entrepreneur, as we can be very, very happy up in the ethers and the other dimensions, but you have to remember that we're physical beings. And the stuff that you taught me, and I know it's not something you necessarily do, but obviously it still comes very intuitively to you, in like the eating and the exercising and the moving of the body stuff, was just so what's the word, like just so enlightening for me. And I mean, I've been in the gym. I joined the gym on the 28th of December, and I'm just so much fitter, healthier. I'm just sitting here eating chocolate eggs now, but I can assure you I just had like a massive tuna salad with like pine nuts and all of the things. So like you really helped me with like those bits of embodiment, and really, and not even from a weight loss point of view, right? When I go to the gym now, I'm like, I'm building strength, I'm building stamina, because I know I'm here for big shit, and I need to be strong and I need to be fit, because I need to be in that right energy so that I've got that energy to move through and bring my mission out into the world. So I just wanted to shout you out for that, because the work you do is absolutely life-changing as well. So I just wanted to get that in.
It's so funny because I don't remember that being in your human design. I remember that being a soul channel that your soul was wanting. And I remember at the time you didn't want to hear it. You wanted the human design stuff. But
it
that's
was the gate 5,
what
wasn't it? And the left arrow.
Yeah, but I remember your soul, like, and what your soul was saying was she needs to build energetic capacity. She needs to strengthen her body. She needs to make her body healthy so that she can have the capacity to create the impact that she wants to. And so I do remember like that feeling that I had, and so grateful that once again, like that's so, easy for me and created the biggest impact for you. So I'm so grateful for that.
Amazing session with Tammy just before Christmas, I think. Was it just before Christmas? Maybe October, November time. And I was actually really, really physically poorly with kind of like